The question to all three of you. You three people behind the project, for the benefit of the audience, can you let us know what is the Why Poverty Project in its totality?
It's 8 documentaries, 30 shorts, lots of broadcasters, 71, 72 maybe now. An estimate, I think conservative now, of 500 million people who will watch these amazing films.
It's also an online platform. We've got a YouTube channel where all the shorts are being screened, and after broadcast the long films will be streamed as well. And the online platform, I think, is a very important additional platform to the public broadcasters.
What would you say, and the question to all three of you, what was the biggest obstacle in the entire project?
Money.
Nick?
Well, I think that these expensive films, and putting together that amount of money was very tough. And between them in different ways, men and Don did that. And I think also, however, the most pleasurable thing that also was fraught with obstacles is trying to decide not only how you select 8 films, but also what is going to be important about the stories you pick out. I mean, why do you choose 8 stories and 30 shorts rather than another 8 stories and 30 shorts? Because, frankly, we could do another series of poverty of the same size if we had the resources next year. I mean, it's a big subject.
No, I think we were very fortunate to have strong support by some foundations, and I think they need to be mentioned here. Bertha Foundation, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, Ford Foundation really supported this project, and without them we would have had a very difficult cash flow situation, because as you know, getting money from broadcasters is not easy. The amounts are very small, they're getting smaller all the time, and the way the money comes in is you get it mostly when the films are in the edit or have been delivered, and that becomes very difficult to actually produce all these films and have enough money in place. But I think Nick's also saying the selection of the films, that's a big problem, or it's a difficulty, it's a challenge, and the editorial group was very important in that.
Yeah, I think it is a struggle because, you want to start filming as soon as you find the film, and then, you have to get the contract signed and invoices and all these things. But I will have to say that the broadcast, there's a lot of broadcasters who have supported it and also paid, and then there's some that took a long time. And that's how it is. It's always like that, but it is a struggle. But at the same time, it's we get there, and 71 broadcasters is amazing that they participate in this global dialogue. In a way, it's an experiment. It's never been done before.
What did you hope would be the one outcome for it? What did you personally hope to achieve from this?
I mean, what I got out of it personally was that I felt less hopeless about dealing with poverty through the course of this project. Because I come from a country, South Africa, where we have a huge amount of poverty and a huge amount of inequality, and we're confronted with poverty every day, I've always felt extremely hopeless about dealing with poverty. But I felt through this project and getting to understand what can be done, understanding that there are structural issues that need to be addressed and that these structural issues can be addressed, I have felt less hopeless.
Well, to me, it's been, as a public broadcaster and showing lots of films about inequality and poverty and people struggling in all parts of the world, that could we create something new, something fresh, start the debate in a fresh way and actually get people to participate. And I must say that even though, when we decided on the idea, I thought it's going to be uphill, but I must say it's been the opposite. I mean, as soon as people got the idea what we wanted to do, they were actually in there, and the activities around the world is just amazing, from screenings at squares to screenings in soup kitchen in Greece, and all kinds of initiatives, online participation, and so it's just unbelievable, educational games, and I think that is amazing, and I think that actually there is a need. In the beginning, we wanted to call it Why the Gap, and that's only 4 years ago, but actually inequality was not really the buzzword. It is now, and that is, in a way, when you see the collection of these films, it is inequality that is the big sort of common denominator.
Nick?
Well, I tend to commission or make shows because I want to find out about things, and I was shit scared of this subject. I'd always avoided, as a reporter, as a producer, making anything about poverty talk. So A, because I knew nothing about it, and B, because I thought it was a boring subject that would drain you of energy the more you put into it. But I've discovered it's the contrary, and I've made a very simple discovery, which is at the root of all successful attempts to deal with poverty. That you have to see people not as the poor, but as individuals. And you have to think as hard as you can about what they need, and not what they want you think they should receive from yourself. And I think in a quite wondrous way, these films made by such talented filmmakers who get all the credit for it, not us in the least, have understood this intuitively and gone out to communicate this. And I think if the series manages to communicate this simple truth, along with all the other slightly more complex things it's telling you about different efforts to do something in the contemporary world, it will have succeeded.
I just wrote this down on my way here, and I was just wondering, was it worth it? But then maybe you're not really going to know until these things are broadcast and then
Next week and a year from now, I think.
As Chairman Lai said about the French Revolution, almost 200 years after it occurred, it is too early to know.
And I think, Rudy, there's also going to be a long life after broadcast. We're still using the Steps for the Future films, the Why Democracy films, Why Poverty films. They're just going to start now being used. And I think that's going to be something we're looking forward to, and we hope that distribution through organizations like Oxfam, through other organizations, is going to give legs to the project in another dimension.
We also have to say that 1st of January, the films are free for everyone, not just organizations, but every individual in the world.
They'll be released globally online?
Yes.
No, it's worth saying that.
Yeah.
But in a way, that's a quite revolutionary premise. We got all the public broadcasters to abandon their rights, their holdbacks on the films, in the same way as we got the filmmakers to abandon their rights on the films. So come January 1st, it all belongs to you guys.